Check 1 2. What's going on? LA Prepper with a quick unofficial live video update. I don't know if we're going to be updating a lot of stuff today, but just wanted to kind of check in with the community since I've been AWOL for a few weeks. Sorry about the AC in the background, but it's getting a little comfortably warm outside, so we got the AC up and running. I think I will grab a pen real quick. We'll take a look at a few things on the news today. I've been doing a little bit of windsurf Moran planning. Paying everybody amount. Man, there's so many. I tell you, building it is only half the battle. Getting it to the beach and assembled and into the water is it's too overwhelming to even think about. If I just sat down and thought about, you know, I mean, just like getting it to my car is a ridiculously annoying challenge because my balcony, I have good access with the stairs, relatively good access. My balcony has these supports every 4 feet. So trying to bring out a 12 foot, 12 foot 2x4, spinning it around and I'm like it's like a three-way turn around the corner. That's just it's actually faster. If I had another person, I'd just go straight up over the balcony onto the lower level. But without another person, I haven't quite figured out how to do that. Although I could almost park my car parallel to the balcony, then lower the board straight on top of the car. But that's a little That's a little gimmicky. It would be possible, but by the time I figure out how to untie the ropes from the bottom, I'm already walking down there anyway. So, but yes, the boat is just a few hours of labor away from being at least in a rough form. It's like the mass support. So many little things. Moving the center of gravity forward was a lot of work, but it's all right. It's all right. So if you're just joining us, I'm not going to be talking about anything. I mean, we'll talk about some prepper stuff today. I'm going to look at some current events, get some updates from the audience. Um, just a little bit of a prepper check-in. Might even talking about what I've been working on in the prepper arena, which is more capital related at the moment, but capital is important for prepping. Something that not a lot of preppers really talk about, I don't think. Preppers might talk about their work once in a while. Maybe they talk about silver or, whether or not they want to invest in stocks, but you don't really hear preppers talking about money, trying to make money, earn money, save money, spend less money. That's a big one, at least for me personally. I don't know about other people, but making money and then not spending it, saving it, with strong intention is a lot of my coworkers buying stuff, you know, phones and cars and clothes and shoes. What's up, Dash Out? So yeah, it's one thing to make money, it's another thing to keep money. Taxes, oh, you want to have a great day? Just look at if you work for a W-2 job, look at how much they're taking out in taxes, and I'm kind of like in a middle position where it's kind of crappy because if I started working like halfway through the year, right? So I'm almost, guaranteed going to be paying some amount of taxes, but I think they're withdrawing based on if I was working the entire year. So I'm probably going to get money back, which means based on my last year taxes, which I was just barely exempt from because I was under like the threshold, um, I could technically try to claim exempt, but that means that I got to save up all this money to pay at the end, but I'd have more money in the meantime. So, I don't know. I What's the opportunity cost of not having those funds available and waiting till like I don't know if taxes are due April, maybe sometime in April or May before you get your return. So it's like I don't know, slightly frustrating, but theoretically it's a good way to save. The only thing is what's the opportunity cost? Yeah, they will be. I know I'm going to be paying something, but at least I think so. I know there's, who knows. I'm just going to sign up probably. I mean, I might do them by hand, but now that I have two screens, I might do them by hand. But damn, there's so many things you got to look up because every time, you know, you read the form, it's like fill in your taxable income. For taxable income, see form 773A. Then you see form 773A and it's like these all, it's easy when you're W2, but it can be looking up little exemptions and I don't know. It's not a big deal, but it's just kind of, you know what I mean. So enough about taxes. Taxes are a depressing topic. It'd be nice to lower taxes. I think Trump did lower taxes, but it'd be nice to keep lowering them. So I got to buy a house, get that sweet mortgage interest deduction. So we'll talk a little bit about my preps. I'm going to look up a few stories in the news. I heard recently, just offhand, that Venezuela's military is controlling the water, something crazy like that. It's also, of course, in the news, these Antifa slash Patriot event slash riot. I don't want to say riot. I mean, that's kind of a word that I wasn't there and I haven't seen pictures, but there's tear gas and people with, gas masks on, and it kind of looks riot-ish. Maybe you could call it a slightly less than peaceful gathering, you know, um, up in Portland, which is really funny because the last time I went to Portland, it was boring. Wasn't really anything going on, so I don't know. Anyways, interesting stuff. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't, I understand civil assembly, right? I'm a patriot. I respect the right to peaceably assemble to protest whatever you want, basically. Even if I mean, with the exception of like seditious and traitorous things. I mean, I don't want to see people in the street saying support Russia or something. I don't know, but in general, I support people's right to speak freely and protest however they want. But when you show up somewhere wanting to, you know, and loitering in a supermarket. I mean, if you want to protest like in front of the supermarket, that's one thing. But if you're gonna like lay down in all the aisles and disrupt their business, I don't support the right to just interrupt somebody's business like that. You know, you don't have the right to like fuck with private business in this country. I don't believe. But you want to stand on the sidewalk and protest all you want. Sidewalks, public property. Don't be violent. Fine. Whatever. But they always have to take this like next step as if it's gonna, you know, as if the grocery store gods are gonna bow to their dairy product protest, or all the dairy companies are gonna shut down, or all the meat companies are gonna stop. Yes, yes, it's very cool. It's and I really don't. I'm like working so much, which I love, but I haven't really thought a lot about like how great it is to be done with school. So thank you for reminding me. I was actually talking to my coworker the other day. He finished school a while ago, and I was like, "Isn't it nice not to have homework and classes and finals and quizzes and all that crap?" You know? Yeah, exactly. Dash out. It's and that's where like if I was Antifa's strategist, I would say, "Look, you're doing all right on gathering interested parties, possibly, but all the violent stuff, all the getting arrested stuff, all the showing up with sticks and shields." Like that's a short run gain. I mean, what are you getting like are you trying to get strategic control of the dairy market? Like if you were trying to occupy the dairy aisle indefinitely, that's one thing. Okay. I guess it would start with loitering. But to just occupy it for 8 hours, It just seems ridiculous to me. I get protesting. Protesting can have an effect, but smashing somebody's window, like a lot of anarchists or people. I don't know if they're necessarily anarchists, but some people show up to riots just to do crazy, stupid stuff. Not everyone that shows up to a riot is there for political purposes. Sometimes people show up just to destroy stuff because they figure they want to, they can get away with it, they're going to make a difference. They're lemmings. Who knows? Who knows all the dumb reasons people destroy stuff? But it's not. I mean, all it does is it causes. Ironically, destroying stuff boosts the GDP because you're paying for new glass. You're giving the guy who installs the glass a job. He's going to make some money and pay his employees. So it's almost sort of ironic that anti-anarcho-capitalist destroying things in a capitalist market just causes more capitalist behavior. I don't know, kind of a funny way of looking at it. But what else is in the news as of late? Of course, Donald Trump's been busy doing a lot of stuff. We got soccer going on. I believe the World Cup's going on. Oil's doing interesting stuff. Oil production, I want to say, is not like that low right now, but every time they change it 100, a few million gallons a day, people go all sideways. The bottom line is people who sell oil want to make a lot of money, so they're going to keep selling oil. Of course, sometimes they reduce production to increase price because, supply and demand and all that. Yeah, that's my economics. Economics. This is all you need to know for economics. That's cheaper. That's more expensive. Okay, that's all you need to know. Economics 101 with two hands. Um, Immigration protests going on. That's kind of a hot topic. Um, Largely beyond my control, other than a vote or maybe a protest. But immigration is a hot topic. I don't really touch on it a lot. I think it's pretty well known that countries across the world have borders and try to enforce them. But our country is kind of unique. People like coming here a lot, so kind of makes it causes a little bit of tension. Yeah, I'm in California right now. I don't want to say permanently, but for the immediate future, I'm going to be in California. So I'm going to have to deal with expensive home prices. But cool for your buddy. Um, See a dash. Oh, got it. Yeah, see a dash out. But man, people are busy on Sunday. I wonder if they're having Fourth of July parties or getting ready for a Fourth of July party or what's going on. Um, Let's see if we can find any more interesting stuff in the news. It's going to be really hot in the Northwest. 9 injured in mass stabbing at Idaho apartment complex. That's a little crazy. Is it like at a party or something? A man who had been asked to leave an apartment complex because of bad day behavior was turned the next. Oh, he stabbed people at a birthday party, at a kid's birthday party. Jesus Christ, that's terrible. And yeah, I mean, all the more reason that yeah, but what do you have on you? I mean, it's the question. You don't always have time to go to your car. If a guy just jumps out of his car with a machete and starts going crazy or whatever, I'm not saying he had a machete, but if a guy just jumps out, like you got to run to your car and get whatever you have. That's like the whole reason. I don't conceal. I can't. I don't have a license right now, but and my state's not good with it. But you know, gotta protect yourself. Have some situational. Not saying they didn't try to fight the guy off, but um, I'll say one really interesting thing about terrible events like that is it sort of said that sure, well, a knife. I mean, that's one thing. I consider concealed carry as in like firearms. But one thing about like crazy events like that is they say that it takes people a while to kind of, and you can see it in videos and stuff. It takes people like a few seconds usually to realize like something really serious and awful is happening. So even if a guy is holding a knife, like walking up to a birthday party, it might take your brain a couple seconds to be like, why is this guy walking up? Who is he? Do I know him? Why is he carrying a knife? You don't necessarily jump to this guy's about to go crazy. So it's a very it's scary not just because crazy stuff happens, but scary stuff I think is also crazy because it takes the average person and maybe even a person that's I don't want to say used to something like that, but even someone with a little bit of training, it might take a couple moments to say, "Oh wow, this guy might be about to go crazy," or this girl, whoever. What am I going to do? And if you're at a birthday party, a bunch of cake and toys and paper plates, like unless you have something on you, um, not a lot to, you know, unless you have like a plan or some kind of personal defense. What are you going to do? Yeah, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that there are factions. If you had money and you were trying to recruit quote unquote Antifa, you would go to a city like Portland, right? Because of all the, people in Portland. I mean, I thought people in Portland were perfectly nice. I didn't really talk to a lot of them, but the ones that I met seemed, I don't know, fairly normal. But I wasn't like checking out the Portland scene, whatever that is. So who knows? But I think ultimately the protest is going to be much ado about nothing. Um, Mostly because I don't think they're drawing a lot of sympathy. You show up wearing all black with sticks and shields and start getting violent with people, you're only going to attract people that want to show up, wear all black, and get violent. And if that's kind of like your main deal, I think you're going to probably end up in the claim, with a charge of resisting arrest, refusing a police order, breaking curfew, inciting a riot. That's like kind of um, too many engineers wearing not many. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think an engineer would look at a protest and be like, "Oh, I don't want to get arrested. I'm trying to get a good job." Like that's we would just kind of look at it from like a very. I'm sure you have some people in the tech community on both sides though, but yeah, I think protest and civil action is sort of civil disobedience is kind of glorified in some ways, and I mean, being politically active, being trying to take an active role in improving your country for the better is one thing, and we have a lot of history of Americans doing that. Um, and I don't know what the numbers are, but I would say that generally speaking, aside from kind of like the really big movements like civil rights movements, women's suffrage, anti-slavery movements, aside from like huge movements like that, I think you need to kind of get that sort of national support, like anti-Vietnam protests, for example. But a few Antifa riots in Portland or wherever in Seattle, I don't know. I just don't understand what their goal is. Like they're trying to take down our capitalist government through force, through organized force, which is sort of like fascist as well. But enough about them. Enough about these yahoos. They can go show up in shields and sticks wherever they want, and they're probably going to get met with appropriate enforcement action, much to their chagrin. I don't expect them to be walking down my street, protesting in the near future. But have a bunch of people would be walking out of their houses like, what are these retards doing? Unless they wanted to protest freeways. If they want to show up on my street and protest freeways, I'm all for it. Or protest houses being built next to freeways, anyways. Yeah, it's true. Engineers don't really have time for protests. They are building. In fact, today I need to do. I'm working on my, like I mentioned, I'm working on my windsurf Moran, trying to get that thing. I need to go out in the next couple weeks. I've been putting it off for too long. It only needs a little bit more work, and I don't want to say I'm nervous. I mean, I'm not really. I know it's going to work. I know it'll sail through the water at some amount of speed. I'm fairly confident it's not going to completely break. If I was out in the waves and it was getting crazy, maybe I tear a screw up or crack something. I don't know, but it's pretty heavy and it's built. It's going to be built relatively robustly, even if like you know I'm going to have a paddle with me. I don't think I'm going to break or lose the sail, so I can kind of like limp it back to shore windsurfing. I think if I need to, and I might test that out. But anyways, um, stay tuned. Oh, it reminds me, I need to shop for an action camera, a waterproof action camera, a cheap one probably, only because I don't know, I'm cheap. Maybe I should get a nice one, but I need to get some audio. Audio is the key, you know. The audio from a GoPro, like it has a mic, but if you don't plug in a mic, it sounds like you have a microphone in a glass jar because obviously it's taking audio from inside the waterproof case, which turns out to be crap. But yeah, I mean, I actually thought about starting building it. Let me turn the damn AC off. This thing drive me crazy. Yes, I. It's a little. I have a few projects I'm working on. I'm working on the boat. I've recently decided that I need to buy a house in the next couple of years, preferably sooner. Um, Obviously, it takes credit and work history and saving up money and stuff like that. So I'm sort of trying to prioritize different expenditures, but I can definitely start working on the plane. In fact, let me give you a good video of a guy that sort of documented his whole build really, really well of one of the ones I'm strongly considering called the Legal Eagle, technically the Legal Eagle XL. And I don't know if the build is a normal one or an XL build, but anyways. So the main frame is chromoly brazed together, and then the wing is wood. All the ribs are the same. It doesn't taper. It doesn't get smaller at the end. It's just a perfectly square wing, which makes it a little pretty simple to build. I think there might be a slight dihedral, though I'm not sure. The tail is the empennage, I believe it's called. The rear portion is just aluminum with some heat shrink skin, kind of like the heat shrink skin for the wings. And the engine, the coolest part, I think the coolest part, the engine is a VW engine. So it's a four-stroke, and it doesn't use a lot of gas, and it sounds, not as loud and annoying. The full plans and videos and CDs and everything are, I think, like $225. So I don't really want to pick them up until I plan on getting some materials and starting to build. Keep in mind, I live in apartments, so what's up, hands on? Oh, hands on. I think you did a project that I completely missed. In fact, you've probably done a few projects that I've missed, but I know the ATV turned out all right. Then maybe you got a second ATV. I can't keep track of all your ATVs. Rain catchment system. Awesome, 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 awesome. I mean, in California, it's kind of not a great place to have one, but yeah, the bombardier, or your bombardier, as I like to say. Yeah, that thing was super cool. I love that thing. That was God. It has so many cool features. ATVs are just awesome. I have no use for an ATV now, but someday I'm going to buy a property just so I have an excuse to get an ATV because they're awesome. But so what's this off-grid homestead? Did you buy some land hands-on and you building a little bug out thing out there? What's all that about? Linear equations. Oh, that shouldn't be a terrible class. Linear equations are really easy to deal with. They're a lot easier to deal with than nonlinear equations. I don't know, man. Tell them to. Honestly, I would just tell them to YouTube. Just, in fact, let me see what the offering of you on linear equations on YouTube is right now. Probably better than you would think. There's 665,000 results. So my advice to the kid is just look up examples. See, the tough part about class is that, oh, are you relocating? So wow, interesting. So what's the water situation like on your land? I feel like I asked you this before, but do you have a well groundwater collection, or are you bringing it in? Yeah, where is Hands On? I don't think he's in Cali. I don't think so. Let's see. Let's see if we can stalk Hands On right now. Mm, I mean, I think if you were from the state, you'd be able to tell, but or maybe. Oh, are you sore and tired, Hands On? Central USA. Okay, the Midwest. Got it. The well is drilled, but no pump. Dude, you got a well. That's like, to me, the idea of drilling, getting water from the earth, and as long as you're not using like a ridiculous amount, it gets replenished. That Like, how long is the well gonna last? Like, how big is it? Does it get replenished from other groundwater, from rainwater, from springs? It's always like fascinated me. I know there's water in the earth, but the idea that you could just keep pumping it out forever and ever, I don't know, just seems like such a crazy, crazy thing. Someday I want to own houses like all across the country, mostly for rentals, maybe a little bit to play around, but like I think it'd be really cool to have like, 5, 10 acre plots and rent out like a house or some living space or something just to keep somebody kind of cool on the property, somebody keep an eye on it, making money. Maybe even somebody who's a little bit of a prepper, a little bit of an outdoors person, somebody who wants to have like a little garden. So no matter where I am, and I would have like a separate unit to live on. So I could like drive across the country and stay kind of on my own place. Just give them a call, say like, hey, I want to come, sleep on the front lawn or whatever. This weekend I'm riding my motorcycle across the country, something like that. I'd put it in the lease, agreement or whatever. I don't think it'd be a big deal, but Rockies, Colorado Rockies. Wow, that's so. Are you building the house from scratch? Let me watch some of these videos again. Are you just? That's freaking crazy, man. That is so crazy. I mean, it's not crazy, but I know it's a big project. Laying the foundation, putting up the walls, getting it all wired and plumbed. I think that's really awesome. I look forward to a lot of videos on it. Oh, I'm going to make a comment on that real quick. Not just about houses, but about things in general. If you want to save a lot of money, and now I wouldn't do this if you were inexperienced. Like, if you don't know anything about building planes, buying somebody else's half-built plane, not a great idea. If you don't know anything about fixing up motorcycles, buying someone's half fixed up motorcycle, terrible idea. But if you do know kind of a medium about, um, wait, what? Tesla's coming out with an ultralight? Oh my God, shut up. How did I not know about that? Okay, I'm gonna look at that in a second. But anyways, half completed projects. What's up, Virginia? I hope you enjoyed summer camp. Half completed projects can be a really good source of projects for you. A couple reasons. One, they're usually hugely undervalued. Two, and kind of relating to that, all the money that people spend on materials and plans and tools even to like work stuff, it's all costs a lot of money, and when they sell it, they're not going to get that money back. So you can usually, do all right on that. So that's really cool. Or other times you pay, market value and you don't get like a super deal. 2 weeks left for camp. Okay. I'm not the big. I mean, I've been to summer camp a few times. I'm not the biggest fan. I do like kind of being out, but all the times I've been to summer camp, I've sort of been like woefully underprepared. Like, I didn't really bring any food or snacks. I never brought enough money. I never brought enough crap to entertain myself. I always felt like I was like so poor at summer camp. Like, I never had. I know you're supposed to like enjoy the outdoors and make friends and all that bullshit, but I just wanted more M&Ms. So I don't. I know that's a really awful way to look at summer camp. I guess I was. I don't want to say I was like. I don't mind camping and going out, but something about like, I don't know. I don't mean to poo-poo on the summer camp thing, but bless my parents' hearts for sending me off to camp and trying to help me enjoy my summer here and there. But Anyways, so what are y'all working on? I've talked to, if there's anything current news events you want to talk about, feel free to bring it up. But I don't want to ramble on this whole live stream. Somebody in my last live stream said I shouldn't talk to myself as much, so that's true. I want to know. So obviously, Hands On been working on an epic. I mean, I'm going to call Hands On project like gold level. No, gold isn't the highest level. Gold used to be the highest level, but I would call it either platinum or like titanium or chromium. I don't know. We'll call a platinum level prepper. Yeah, I like alliteration. So Hands On is doing a platinum level prepper project of buying homestead land and finishing a house. That's platinum level. That's super epic, right? Crazy epic. The rest of us are doing stuff like, buying ramen and buying water. Well, I mean it is. It's like the penultimate goal, you know? Um that's or like whoever's buddy somebody was saying their buddy just moved to Missouri or something. I would say that's like a gold level prepper project, getting up and moving to a different state. That's, super, super huge. But if you add, a big construction or like for example, another one of our friends doing the platinum level stuff, G Bear. In fact, I'm gonna send you his channel, hands on, because he has a homestead in the desert and he just makes videos every day about his project. Not maybe not every day, but a lot about his projects, about his homestead. He built a chicken coop. I was going to say he was building it, kind of modifying it like a month ago, but he's built it now. So he's doing the chicken coop thing. He's got solar going on. You would like what he's about. So, and not just hands on anyone. I advise everyone to start thinking about this. Even if you're not going to be buying property tomorrow, I could buy bug out property in, I don't know, the next year, but okay, the only way that it would make sense for me to buy bug out property, I think, before a house, maybe there's a few different ways, but I happen to work near an airport, right next to a freaking airport, right? A little municipal airport. I could fly into work every day, and it costs $100 a month to park there. Although I think there's a rule that if you buy gas, you can park for free, but I don't know how long I think you can park for free for the day if you buy gas there, but you have to buy something like, I don't think it was 15 gallons. Was it 5 gallons? The ultralight only burns 2.5 gallons an hour. So it's almost like I would have to buy gas there, like take it back with me and put it in my car or something. Cause I mean, I wouldn't even I couldn't burn 2.5 gallons if I was flying an hour, or I couldn't burn 5 gallons if I was flying an hour. So I might have to and I don't know if I want to fly 2 hours to work every day. That's a long commute. Even by plane, that's a long commute. So, but theoretically, I could fly to work. And I think that would be the most awesome thing in the world, even if it was some rinky dink little ultralight. Of course, the problem with the ultralight is that you can't fly at night. I'd have to get like a light sport or whatever. I don't know if light sport can fly at night. In fact, light sport fly at night. And I know I'm rambling on this pilot stuff, but I'm kind of excited about it. I don't know if we have any subs that do any flying, but anyways. Let's get back caught up with the text. Mark, if you have a link for the Tesla Ultralight, I didn't see it initially on my search, and unfortunately, when you put words like Tesla, maybe I'll try Tesla plus Ultralight, because those are two. When you search two really popular words together, it's kind of hard to find meaningful results sometimes. I haven't personally heard of them making a plane. Who knows? What's up, Joe? Yeah, good to see you on the stream. It's been your dream for a long time. Bit scary, but a lot of fun. I'm sure it is a little bit scary, but you know what? I think it's such a great thing to do in general because, first of all, buying property kind of like that may not have sewer, plumbing, or electricity. That's like a little less. I don't know exactly the details. In fact, just out of curiosity, do you have sewer, plumbing, electricity, water? Like, do you have city water? It doesn't look like it. Looks like you're in kind of a far out area. But were you the one telling me about that story, Mark? Somebody was telling me, but I don't like that. I don't like those small planes. I like ultralights because I know for sure if I get into a problem with that ultralight, I can land in like 200 feet, 300 feet, maybe even less if I had to. Not that big of a deal. You start flying a Cessna, they don't. I mean, they actually interestingly some of those planes glide better than ultralights because ultralights are kind of really light and they have a lot of drag because they have big lifty wings and they don't really fly fast. So they're not the best for no engine recoveries, other than the fact that they're very light and small. That they don't weigh a lot. But okay, yeah, I thought it looked like a little more remote of an area. But the point I'm getting at is once you pick up a project like that, you become a little bit more familiar with buying real estate, a little bit more familiar with construction, a little bit more familiarity with going off grid, and you can kind of parlay that into other projects, other real estate projects, other maybe bug out related projects, other construction projects. So it's and if you can pick it up for kind of like a decent deal and you can kind of work with it, you have some kind of like you're not going to lose it. In other words, if you can like pay cash or a lot of cash or I wouldn't do it if you were sort of like I wouldn't do it if you were a little bit uncertain. I mean, me personally, I would want to be a little bit more secure in the way that I did it finance wise because God forbid you lose your job or something and you can't like you'd want to kind of have a backup plan, even if it's like okay, my payment on the land, excuse me. Let's say, based on what you put down, your payment on the land's like $500 a month. You would want to kind of think about at least I would kind of try to think about like ways you might be able to mitigate that cost if you had some interruption to your flow of cash. Like even if you have some savings, say you could charge people to store their boats or I don't know RVs or put up a little unit or something and rent it out to someone who wants or have someone pay you $300 a month to live in their RV on your property, something like that, right? So that your holding costs aren't as much because heaven forbid you have a job issue. And I don't mean to be like picking on you in particular. I'm just kind of saying in general regarding like new directions. It's always good to kind of have like a little bit of a plan. For example, I'm thinking about buying a house. I would not buy a one bedroom house or a studio because if I ever had job issues and I wanted to rent it out, I'm gonna have to live with, like in the like share a bedroom or something ridiculous. I'd much rather buy a 3 bedroom house and shit hits the fan, I lose my job. I'm living in the backyard in a shed, still use the kitchen and bathroom, whatever, and I'm renting out the entire house, or I'll live in the garage. I don't really want to live in the garage. I kind of want to use the garage, but I would live in a shed in the back. I really don't care, you know. So to pay the mortgage, let's see, foreclosure, live in a shed. Foreclosure, live in a shed. Not a tough decision, right? So I'm just kind of saying, do what you got to do to make it in this world. And sometimes you got to take a little bit of a risk. You got to finance something. You got to get out of your comfort zone. If you never get out of your comfort zone, I'm not sure you're either a really comfortable person or that's awesome, hands on, and I'm not trying to like pry it out of you or anything. But I encourage people to take risks, not crazy, life defying risks. Obviously, I mean, I could go into a whole nother segue about like, what's up, Dad Bullfrog? I could go into a whole nother segue about real estate stuff. But yeah, just take your time. Work with a knowledgeable professional. The key to a knowledge. Let me give you one piece of advice on finding a knowledgeable professional. A good salesperson, even though they're going to be sort of closing on a somewhat regular basis, they're always going to be talking about financing and getting pre-qualified and are you ready to write up a contract, stuff like that. Okay, it's just kind of their deal. But a really good realtor is going to share information with you. How old is it? What are the services? What are the values? And if you really want to find a good realtor, the ones, in my opinion, that are the best are the ones that are connected to community. You want to find out how smart a realtor is, how good at their job they are. Ask them what they know about the neighborhood, about the cities, about the local governance, about trends in the area, local business, who's hiring people, who's firing people, who moved in, what have they built? Have they built a park? Has there been a Walmart that went up 10 miles down the road? If they know what's going on, it's not just about, oh, look at the paint. Do you like the front door? Look how, look at the side access or whatever. You really want to get a sense of like what's going on in the local area. Um, my opinion, anyways. So that's really cool. So, anyways, what are other people working? Oh, you don't have you're not an admin, so you can't do the link thing. Here, Acer, let's take a quick break. I hereby nominate and duly appoint Acer Rubrum in the eyes of the universe and the prepper community as a moderator. Now you can post the link. You like how I did that, Acer? I'm looking for it right now, but did Tesla build it or did somebody else build it? Because somebody said Tesla Ultralight, and I'm not familiar with a Tesla Ultralight. So, anyways, what are you working on with your preps? How's the garden, Die Bullfrog? Why don't you share with us how your garden's doing? My tomato plants are doing well. One pot's doing all right. One pot's doing pathetically. My arugula is all awful. I'm a terrible gardener, but I don't have them a lot of dirt. I haven't really been doing nutrient stuff. I haven't been watering all the time. They don't get perfect amount of sunlight profile. Where the heck? I've been working, player. And the thing is, I work from. I do an evening shift from like 3. I mean, I leave the house at like 2, but I work from like 3 to 2 in the morning. So I could theoretically do a morning podcast, but in the morning I'm kind of trying to, or my morning, which is like 11 to 2 o'clock. I'm busy trying to do stuff, trying to do errands, just trying to be productive because I have a few hours of daylight in the middle of the day. Not much is going on. Working on the boat, just enjoying, trying to enjoy life a little bit. To be honest, just trying not to be stressing about stuff. I've been stressing about school and finding a job, and I don't know if you guys realize, but I'm kind of been like under a lot of stress for several years. So I'm some of the time I'm doing nothing and perfectly okay with it. I'm not, my whole outlook for life isn't doing a lot of nothing, but as of late, I have been taking a little bit of a break from because I work a lot. It's not the most exhausting work, but yeah, it takes some concentration and I am burning some calories. I'm a little bit on my feet. I don't do a lot of heavy lifting, but I do lift stuff from time to time. So that's a cool story, Die Bullfrog. What did you do a video on? Let's see. Giant African bullfrog. Well, that's not the video I was looking for. By the way, if y'all don't know, Hoople's cat has like 700 subscribers right now. I just thought I would mention that. Not to take away, you should also subscribe to Die Bullfrog because he's the best. But yeah, Hoople's cat has been prolifically growing, and I don't know if it's Canadian luck, but yeah, 720 videos. That guy's crazy. Garden. Oh, 2 days ago on the garden. Bell peppers are looking good. Hooples. I mean, sorry, Die Bullfrog. I was just thinking about our friend. Nice. Looks good, Die Bullfrog. Looks good. No, I'm currently working a job in California. Would I ever move to another state? Yeah, maybe. But my job's too. I for now, I'll be in California. You know, rents are good in California. If I can find a cheap house or an affordable house and fix it up and charge rent, the price in California is going to keep going up, even if you have a little correction. Okay, let's try open in new window. Yeah, it's only $40,000. That's cool. Only problem I have with electric, even though it's probably equally or more reliable, is that I'm going to give it a little bit of time. Brushless motors have come a long way. They are an amazing, amazing technology. Absolutely fascinating. Maybe not fascinating, but they're pretty freaking cool. And I'm gonna give them a while. You know, the power controllers, the battery's been around for a while, but oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I've been there about a month. So cross your fingers. I give 110% every day. Maybe some days it's 105, maybe 95 on the odd day, but I I work very hard, very hard. So, but to answer your question, hands on, maybe. I'm looking to work for myself. I'm looking to just flip property. In fact, one niche that I thought about that would be really cool is like developing bug out properties. So getting like a piece of land, building maybe a tiny home or a mobile home or something, getting some power, water, sewage going, even if it's a compost toilet, and then selling it as a like ready to bug out land, right? I think there's some potential for that, especially if I can do stuff like seller finance, maybe. Um, Maybe seller finance. Maybe I can do some, just flip it outright, second equity. Um, there's a lot of different ways to work it, but I don't think a lot of people are doing it. I think there's a lot of demand for it. Um, yeah, maybe it is his hair. He does have some wild hair. Uh, Maybe it's the meow. Maybe it's his cat impressions, his amazing cat impressions. Who knows? But holy, holy heck, eh? His channel's really taken off, eh? Gonna go through the roof. Canadian and Minnesota get a little bit tricky, get a little bit mixed up sometimes. The chard came out very nice, Die Bullfrog, I will admit. So none of you want to share what you're working on in the prepping world. Maybe you've made videos about it and I just haven't seen. Let's see. Hands-on. Virginia's camping. Hands-on's doing a bug out thing. Mark, what are you doing? I know Dead Bullfrog's working on the garden and he's always making videos, but Mark, Mark and Joe, well, I'm sure Joe's doing radio stuff all the time, but you got to always be doing new projects, right? That's my opinion. Unless you got everything figured out, and I don't know if any of us have everything figured out, keep doing new projects, learn new stuff, pick up a new hobby, build something new, make a new connection. There was a group of friends I could have gone with to the range today, but I just I didn't have the energy. I had the energy, but I had the money, but I don't know. Between gas and ammo and the fact that it's Sunday, gas, ammo, it's going to be busy, paying full price at the range, plus trying to do other shit today. It was like 5 reasons I was sort of mediocre on going to the range, but can't miss too many opportunities like that. It's a good day to, wow. Oh, it's Canada Day. I didn't know that. I wonder if they're going to wrestle moose and drink maple syrup. Built a solar panel bunker. Pretty cool. Did you make a video about it? See if I can find your channel. I am subscribed. By the way, if you live in Puerto Rico, if I take a vacation down there, can I come sleep on your couch? Of course, I say that, and if you say yes, then I got to fly down there. So I better be careful what I wish for, right? Puerto Rico's gorgeous, I hear. I'd love to go check it out. I like the kayak. That looks like a lot of fun. You might appreciate my windsurf Moran, Puerto Rico, when I finally finish it. Have you seen the website? Since I love to shamelessly promote my half-completed project, I will share it with you now. Try not to get blinded by my tanless body. A manual log splitter, like hydraulic? Like you're building one, or you're refurbishing one, or what? I'm like, knowing you could be like welding it yourself. I don't know. You could be connecting it to an old tractor. Like, look, I used this blender to make a log splitter. He's like, I turned this treadmill into a human powered log splitter. It's got a flywheel. It's chain driven. I used a bicycle, a treadmill, and an old Harbor Freight axe. Start calling you MacGyver, McPrepper. It's really cool. Have you made a video about it? Hands on. I want to see this log splitter. Make a video today if you haven't already. Make a video today. I want to see this log splitting thing. God, that picture of the beach, Puerto Rico, already. I don't know where that beach is, but if I could sail around and have beaches like that, man, maybe I should buy some undeveloped property in Puerto Rico. Like, how much would you pay? I mean, if I was making $50,000, $60,000 a year, I would definitely consider paying like 5, 10, maybe even 15 or 20 grand for some land near the beach in Puerto Rico, assuming I could build some kind of structure on that. Um, Man, I wonder how much is land in Puerto Rico? How much does land cost down there, Puerto Rico already? If I want to get some undeveloped land, like an acre, I don't know, half an acre, that would be really nice. Then I could sail in my windsurf marine down there, right? Yeah, sailing across the open ocean in that thing would be, not to say I wouldn't do it, but I would need to be a little more prepared. I think it would make it in the ocean, whether or not, you know, and to say it would make it, I mean, if I had to sit down the entire time, that would be a little rough. But I think seaworthiness wise, it would sail through the ocean, but sort of has some problems. Like I can't reef the windsurfing sail, which is a little bit of a problem. That's just a slight freaking problem. But I've always thought about how to change a windsurfing sail into a normal sail, like if I could put a bunch of rings on it or something. Well, I wouldn't go swimming. I love how you just like troll like every idea. It remind me of my dad in that way. Like I'll have an idea or something. Like if my dad was sitting here right now and I said, Dad, I want to take this thing across the ocean, he would come up with like 5 reasons why I couldn't. Like, well, you wouldn't have anywhere to cook, and it'd be hard to go to the bathroom, and you can't reef your sail, and you can't you'd want an auto steer and like 3 other things. You'd just be like, you can't, you can't, you can't, you can't, you can't. But I'm more of like a how can I do it type person. Okay. Oh, wait, cancel. Let's look at this manual log splitter. Okay. Interesting. Well, from an ergonomic standpoint, he's got to improve his workstation. Um, it needs a little bit more. I like the idea, but it needs a little bit of improvement to really make it like more efficient. You notice he's picking up the logs, putting them on the stump, chopping them, and then they fall, and then he's like picking them up again. I think, how could he do that? I think something like, let me sort of, maybe I'll draw like a little. No, I'm not going to draw. Better that I don't. But if he had some sort of like I don't know, like two ramp, sort of like two collection areas, like a ramp. I don't know if you could really feed them in, but okay, I would do two. Maybe I will draw it. No, maybe I won't. But sure, sure. But the point is, okay, he needs two things to make this a little bit more efficient. One, you need a log feed ramp, right? So you want to put all your logs, dump them into a big ramp so that you're not bending over and, every 5 seconds to get them all. Just get, build like a little, and just a slight incline um, so that they kind of want to like slide down. If you could, I don't know, it would have to be a little bit steep, but maybe you can set them up so they're like all cylindrical and they all want to roll down, whatever. And where's my chat? Oh my gosh, my chat is dying. Now, it wouldn't feed them onto the splitter because obviously then they would just all flow down, but you'd have a little lip just so that you can grab it from right next to you, put it on the splitter, and then after it splits it, and you could automate this theoretically. Imagine you have a little arm next to the log, and every time the splitter comes up, it pulls on a rope that pulls the arm. So you bring it down, and the little arm is spring loaded. So it looks sort of can't resist something like this. So you have a ramp. The ramp has a little lip, and then you have your logs over here. So the ramp would have a little lip. The logs would roll down. You grab it. You put it here. The log is here. You chop it, and this arm is going to be spring loaded to the log side, and then it's going to have like a little cable running to a pulley or whatever. Not a big deal. So you bring it down. The arms comes back. It chops the log, you lift it up, it pushes the log down to the secondary feeder ramp, which feeds into like a cart or a wheelbarrow or something. Then you grab another log, you put it here, chop. And so what that does is it does a few things. It stops you bending down to pick it up. It moves the chopped piece of log into somewhere ideal so you can re-chop them, or re-split them rather. Anyways, just some thoughts. Okay, let's check out the Ukrainians. Now, see, his is a little bit heavier, and yeah, that's a little bit more efficient way to do it. He's still having to pick them up from the ground, though, and put it there, so it's still not quite as efficient as it could be. But, um, but yeah, see, notice how he's throwing them into a wheelbarrow. He's not throwing them into the ground, and he's also splitting it like completely, so he's not handling it twice. He's not splitting it once, letting it fall on the ground, and then, you might think it's silly to think about this stuff, but every little ounce of energy, every part of your back that you can save. So, anyways, that'll be cool. I think I'm going to sign off here in a couple minutes. My voice is getting just a little bit harsh. And it's so hot, I got to turn the AC on a little higher. But anyways, it's good to check in with a few of you, see what you're working on. I'll have to try a few more live streams and see what kind of interest I can drum up in between my bug out boat work. But yeah. So if there's not anything pressing, I think I'm going to take off and go try to be a little bit productive. It's kind of warm outside, but not too bad. Yeah, you should. Please do. Please do. I don't know how to split wood in the modeling program that I have, but it would be sort of fun to like modeling a spring and modeling a weight on an arm wouldn't be that hard. If I could only figure out how to split blocks, but I could definitely. I actually made a video sort of a while ago about a machine that like rotated a block 180 degrees. Stupid video, but fun stuff. Yeah, bug out to a deserted island, right? That'd be really cool. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to take off. I got to get a little bit of food, run a couple of errands, turn the AC on more, take a shower, probably. Definitely. Not probably. Definitely. But until next time, keep prepping, keep updating videos. I'm going to keep working on stuff. I'll try to make a video of the boat once I do a little bit of progress. But it was good seeing you. And until next time, happy prepping, people. I will talk to you later.